What's up, last Cloudia? Just wanted to show the screenshot. This is like the first time I've ever been this lucky in a summer event. Typically, I either have to spend a ton of money to get the character or I just don't get them at all. But this time I was able to get this in 110 pull, so I'm definitely proud of it. So today we're going to be talking about Summer Labyreth. Who was really excited about her. Super excited. So let's take a look at her in the gotcha screen in the recommended. So basically, she's a status character that can do some pretty good damage and has a lot of passes to help her out. So here are her stats and resistances so you can see. Important things to mention, her skill 1 and skill 3 can attack from a distance. So her not having to move around to get in the opponent's face is very convenient. This also is the same with basic attacks as well. So if you want to do a Goddess Kiss, Wimmer's Apple Pie thing, you can easily do that with her. Also, her skill 2 does something around her, which you probably won't be using very often. And she does have an interesting special that could restore some SET and MP. So that's very interesting. I'm sorry. Yeah, MP and SET. As far as her traits, basically she is someone that's going to be able to cut ailment resistances to blind and curse at the start of battle and every 40 seconds, which basically means it's always going to be in effect to all enemies. This will be very helpful specifically against bosses that like have +2 or +3 resistances to elements. You can use her passive plus a Nula Mouth, which she comes with, and you can even use Archbee and Melee's passive to increase your chances of statusing them even further. So you can do basically a maximum of a -3 to the boss to give you a chance to be able to status them. So that's very convenient if you want to build that team. I think it's a cool idea. Continuing on, she also does ice damage and damage cap, which we expect. Whenever you give a new status element to an enemy, you restore SCT and MP, which is also pretty cool. Now, her second trait, I'm not going to talk about because I don't get it. She has her own, basically, I'm guessing this is a new status, a new debuff that basically either lowers their max HP or lowers their HP by a percentage of their max HP. And I'm assuming this is more useful against bosses. Like I said, I don't quite get it too much, so I'm going to let some other YouTuber who understands it better break it down. I don't personally fully understand. I just know it's probably good against bosses. As far as passives, she does have her own anima. This anima does basically stuff with her unique debuff, and you boost damage taken by 30% to that enemy. Damage cap they take is an additional 10% as well. So during status elements. Now, she has a Nula Mouth, which is necessary if you want to lower their resistances. She got some basic status stuff, some crit stuff, some research, including ecology research, which gives you a basic status element. Some defense, some auto heal, some magic, not magic, but ice damage stuff. Terramel stuff as well, which is always good. Maglion, since he attacks from a distance. Thaumaturgy Ring, since he does strengthen intelligence. Dual Wield, which doubles your chances of giving a status summons while helping you do a lot of damage. Bow Boost, since her primary weapon is a bow. Quick Trigger's nice. Giant Killing stuff. Paranoia stuff, which you've seen before. Goddess Advocate, they've always had. So, let's go with the unique stuff. When physically attacking, which includes skills, chance to give blind and illness. That's already good already. If you give any status element, you increase your physical and special damage by 40%, a max of 10 times, which is pretty cool. So basically, the more times you status, the more damage you're getting. And then the second one is you have a chance to do your skills doing curse and stun at random. If you do a status ailment on them, you get more damage cap to your specials and physicals to about 30k up to 10 times. So pretty cool. She also has a damage taken from enemies with status elements minus 20%. If it's fire or dark, 20% more. Chance to give Sounds Curse and or stun to the enemy that defeats this unit. I think there's a piece of clothing that does something similar as far as giving status. I think you give 2 when they die. So it's not that nice to have something like this as a passive. Battle start when revived, give unit a buff that nullifies 50% of intelligence damage taken. Nullify any anti-god type effects from enemies and enemy attention draw -1. Pretty cool. Transcend abilities, basically you got damage reduction, you got HP and intelligence boost, you get some crit damage cap, you get some physical and crit damage cap. I'm sorry, regular damage cap. You get some ice damage and damage cap. You get some SCT recovery speed, and you get some buffs to her unique debuff. Overall, good character, mainly because she doesn't have to get in their face. She's really good at being an SCT battery for herself, and she can just do a ton of damage. So, pretty nice. Definitely, I think is a top tier character, 100%. I would give her like a 9 out of 10 easily. As far as the arc, basically non-thunder physical magic attack damage taken -15%. So that's cool. When ice magic attacking, chance to give illness. This is really more for like your ice mages. Like if you have like the new insight for Lila, you can give this to her. When giving a new status element to an enemy, restore SCT 10 seconds for one skill. So this will help with Labyreth to, get more SCT. So this arc is good for Labyreth, but it's also good for other characters as well. Learnables are going to include, let me do it this way, Ice Circle, which is not anything new. Ice Raid is okay. Marine Insight, when ice attacking, units intelligence was 50% into damage, so that's kind of cool. Surf Impact, another unique ice weapon equipped when ice skill or special activates, boost damage to 10% to 40% randomly. Interesting. Ice Attack Raise 2, that's nothing new. Ice Weak Point Breakthrough 2, which is decent. Overall, some decent learnables, but I think what's really the winner here is the accessory. The Aether Rewards actually is pretty decent. It has okay stats. Duration of basic stats elements is increased by 15%. So when you give them a status, it's going to last longer, which is important. Just that alone makes this an excellent accessory. You do get some resistances to both poison and stun, so that's good too. Definitely something I would recommend giving to her if you happen to be lucky enough to get the arc. Unfortunately, I did not get the arc, but I still think this is a decent arc overall. I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. I think it's useful to multiple characters, but for the character that's on this banner, it's mainly useful for the first and last part of it, not the middle part, with okay learnables and a really good accessory. Now I'm going to talk about her paid gear real quick. Now, I am currently free to play, so I'm not going to be buying any of this, but I'll give you my opinion anyway. Basically, this is the one I would pick. You get some really good stats, you get some ice, you get some damage cap, you get some more damage if you give them an ailment, and it does have a research ability attached to it. Now, I don't know if this stacks with ecology research, because if it doesn't, then this is kind of redundant, but I'm going to assume that they know what they're doing and that it does stack. Now, she does have an accessory. I think it's okay. Stats are okay at best. Physical basic attack damage taken -10%, 1% chance for research skills activating, which is too low in my opinion. It should have been at least 3%, maybe 5%. But this is one of those passes that Last Cloudia is very cautious about. Enemy attention draw -1, and so a couple of attribute resistances. Overall, it's okay, but I think the weapon's better. So let's go ahead and do a We'll do a test with her real quick, just to see kind of what she can do. Now this I'm going to use Reyna instead of old school Labyreth, since I'm already using the new school one now, so that I can properly test. But yeah, overall I think this is an excellent character. Definitely a 9 out of 10 character. I think she's top tier. She can do the whole SCT battery thing really well. She can do lots of damage. She can do statuses. She can automatically resist wall casting under the belt to lower resistance more. Just so many good things. So obviously we're getting SCT pretty quickly because of the kills I'm getting. Against bosses, that's where the whole like, you know, goddess kiss thing can come in handy. You won't need it here because this fight is pretty easy nowadays. So as far as statuses, I see illness proccing already. And I think that's the only one that we got. Now, if you'd have had like, what's his name? Or what's her name? Melee with you, with her passive, I think we could have given more statuses. But hey, just as is, she did pretty good. Like I said, overall, I think she's a really good character. She can do lots of damage while providing statuses, while being an SCT battery. She does it all. She's just too good, 9 out of 10 character. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Again, I think she's really, really strong. I highly recommend her. And I'm just glad I was lucky enough to get her in 110 pull. Because if I had to spend all my resources and got nothing, that means I had to skip the next collab too. So thankfully, I still have my 30K saved up for the next collab, which I'm sure is around the corner. But hopefully you like this video, and we'll see you next time. Later.